then both then Jain. So I've taken some key verses of this Sarvadarshan Sangha, which talks about Charvaka philosophy. So one verse is the fire is hot, the water is cold. Refreshing, cool, the breeze of morn. Morn means morning. By whom came this variety? From their own nature was it born? So the question is from where all this is coming. So the answer Charvakas are giving from their own. In another text in Buddhist text, there is a quotation of Charvaka that look at the thrones, how sharp they are. Look at the shape of the some seeds, perfectly rounded. Do you think there is a human being creating all that? No. It's from nature. So nature is producing it. You don't require a creator. From their own things can be produced. Charvakas are saying that things are coming on their own. They say there is no heaven, no final liberation, nor any soul in another world, nor do any action of the four caste order, nor they produce any real upshot. So they are saying that no heaven, no hell, no soul, and no other goods. They rely upon what you see directly. So you don't see heaven. There is no proof of heaven. There is no proof of final liberation. There is no proof of any soul. Like body does not. A person dies. There was some person who tried to calculate the weight of soul. So he calculated, and later on people laughed on it. So the body weight does not. So soul. They say that the body remains after death the same. So then the question comes from where does the soul come? So they have their answer for that. They say it's the way it will come in and there was the way, or if you read the document you got the way liquor produces intoxication. The ingredients of liquor themselves they are not intoxicated, but due to fermentation and all, it produces some intoxication. Or you mix certain things, the new color comes out. So that is how they say that soul comes. It's just a property of these combinations of different materials. And they also attack on the caste system. So in ancient India there was a rigid caste system. So they attacked on that. And here they are attacking the Vedic rituals, the 5 rituals of the 3 Vedas, the ascetics, 3 staves, and the smearing. So these all were ancient Hindu tradition. People did some fire sacrifices, still they do. There are people those who smear their body with the ashes. You'll find many. Were made by. So they are saying that actually these people, those who do this fire sacrifice, or those who become priests, those who smear, this all they do for their livelihood. They are saying there is no spiritual, they are fooling people. There are many renunciates, those who just in order to fool people, people will think the person is saintly, so the person will donate something. So Charvakas are saying that these all renunciate people, they are fake. They are just doing for their livelihood. They don't believe, they actually don't follow what the texts are saying. So this is what Charvakas are saying. Remember, these texts are at least 1500 years old. So in those days also such things did exist. That is why they are saying that these all are just to fool people. They also attack on another very important, in Vedic system, there was a sacrifice of animals. Still in India, you will find in very high, some remote places, they sacrifice the animals for ritualistic purpose. So there, and in Vedas, it is said that those animals are sacrificed, they go directly to heaven. So it's good for the animals. We are liberating from the sacrifice of those who do that, sacrifice animals. They say that we are helping the animals. They are in very bad, poor state. So we are helping them by killing them in Vedic sacrifice, so that the animal goes to heaven. So Charvakas are mocking. They are saying, why did the sacrificer offer his own father as a sacrifice? Why don't you sacrifice yourself for your near loved ones? You are so kind to the animals. Why don't you sacrifice your near and dear ones, or you sacrifice yourself to go to heaven? So they are saying the sacrifice is not for doing good for animals, to eat the meats. These people are sacrificing. So this is how they mock. They bring this another verse in the post-death rituals. If the post-death rituals would produce gratification to the beings who are dead, then here too, in the case of travelers, when they start, so they are saying that somebody has, what is the idea of heaven? Somebody has gone afar in the heaven. So you feast here some, holy people, so-called holy people. Those who have gone afar, they will be fed. That is a belief system. That is how in India post-death rituals are done. A big feast is done. So Charvakas are asking the question, then why the travelers, those who go at a far distance, like these people have gone at a very, very far distance, dead people, they go to heaven or whatever. So then there is no need of carrying food if you have to go to far distance. Because you feed somebody in the home, so the person will be fed. So they are mocking that. So it is needless to give provision for the family, for a journey. In ancient India, no hotels were there. So people, when they travel, they carried the food with them. So they are saying, don't carry food. Why don't? If beings are gratified by offering the Sradhams in the post-death rituals here, then why not to give the food down below? So suppose there is a 2-story building. So they are saying heaven is like, so you feed the ground floor people, the first floor people will get satisfied. Why don't that happens? Like they are mocking this all belief systems. So then they say, this is a very famous statement in Sanskrit, Yavat Jivet Sukham Jivet Dridham Kritva Gratam Jivet Asmi Bhuta Sarirasya Punaragamanak Kutam. So even I was searching about this verse, I found that our Prime Minister is also speaking this verse in Parliament in some context. So this Charvakas are saying that live a happy life. And even you borrow money from the people and enjoy them. Written Kritva Ghatam Pibit, eat the butter, but they drank alcohol. This is just they come by that means they and even if you run in debt, don't worry about it. Because once the body is gone, Bhasmi Bhuta Sarirasya, once the body is burned to ashes, there is no return. There is no. If he who departs from the body goes to another world, how is that he comes not back again? Restless for the love of his kindred. He's saying, suppose you have gone very afar. But if you love, you come, you try to, sometimes you go to very, very far distant place, but you try to come back. If you have love, so the Charvakas are asking that we have not, every day thousands of people are dying. Nobody comes for their loved near dear ones. Had it been the case that people are returning, there is a reincarnation, people should have returned for their near and dear ones. Hence, it is only as a means of livelihood that Brahmins have established here. So they are saying all this afterlife, post-death rituals, they all are for these priestly class, which in Hindu tradition they are Brahmins. So these are all there for livelihoods. All this ceremony for death, there is no virtue anywhere. The three authors of Veda are buffoons, knees, and demons. They are saying that those who authored Veda, those who talk about past life, those who talk about Vedic rituals, they all are fools. and they are very, they are like demons. So while they are called demons, there is another verse. Call this well-known formula of Pandits, Jarfari Turfari. So Jarfari Turfari are tactically technical terms. It means a way of Vedic recitation. So they used to recite in certain way. The obscene rites for the queen commanded in Ashwamedh. So this is the Ashwamedh ritual. Where the horse sacrifice, like horse is cut and put into the. So then it has a very obscene sort of depiction. Where queen has to sleep with the dead horse. Like it's not and covered with the sheet. That type of obscene things are depicted. Of course, they have their own symbolic meaning. That should not be taken on a face value. But if somebody is reading just like that the Vedas, that is why a lot of wrong misinterpretation of Vedic texts have come. But if you read on the face value, it will look very obscene. The text will. So they are commenting on that. The obscene rites for the queen commanded in the Ashwamedha. These were all invented by buffoons. While the eating flesh was similarly commanded by the meat-craving demons. So again, this Ashwamedha or this sacrifice, animal sacrifice, are done by the priestly class. So they are saying that this is all commanded by these meat-eating demons. That means the priests are meat-eating demons, and they want this meat through Vedic sacrifice. So very strong word in very strong statement they are talking, critiquing the Vedic.
So at that time, those who were the Chalukyas were not into meats,
that's what Charvakas does not mean that they were always they are just talking about enjoyment or worldly enjoyment. As Sangha is pointing out that there are Charvakas who are logicians and who believe in the karma. They don't believe in. So Charvakas in modern day also you will find many people those who are. We all are in fact. In a way, we are Charvaka because we try to believe in some sense of philosophy, but what from direct perception, at least I feel that although I have studied a lot of philosophy and I have very deeper respect for it, but what I see from very direct perception, that is not just what is our day-to-day experience. From that we are Charvakas. What through day-to-day experience. So in the ancient times also, these people might be very good people, not necessarily that they were always drinking wine. Maybe that is why they are ethically, they are trying to prove that ethically you are doing something wrong. And ethically they might be good people as well. So, Indian villages, they are just saying that only those who become very religious people, those who are sinners. They try to, in their mind there is something, and those who, many people they are not very religious because they are good people. They don't.
Because I was thinking at the back of my mind, like those Charvakas who do not believe in the river, who do not believe in karma and all those effects. How come that they are being put off sacrifices made by others? And then you might have been actually, those sacrifices should actually be active aimed because they are principally not believing in their life, not being concerned in the river and the lack of death, cause dharma.
So that is why
I was thinking.
Yeah. So this is what what is relevance, importance of why it is important. So they are they offer a critical examination of religious authority. So blind religious authority they are critiquing, which is very important in modern context. Blind belief in text, questioning their ethical and practical values. So they are questioning this ethical values of meat eating. And so Charvaka's skepticism and materialism resonates with modern secular atheistic perspective, making it a valuable part of philosophical discussion about the role of religion and tradition in the society. So that is why Charvaka philosophy is contemporary, it's very relevant. Like this philosophy is relevant. So now this, I'll share this document as well for your reading. No examination on this, but you read so that all verses are there and their explanations are also given. So read on your own. Now today we will enter into the Jaina philosophy. Not worry. This is what is called mind map. So whenever we are discussing a philosophical school, we focus on three things. What are three things? Metaphysics, epistemology, ethics. So, metaphysics, epistemology, and ethics. So this is mind map, as I said. So these are key concepts. From this, there is the Jain metaphysics. We will discuss that separately. Then epistemology. There are certain topics we will discuss, and then Jain thinking. And these are some other topics like concept of Tirthankar, and then reality. How reality is discussed in Jainism, Advaita, and Buddhism. Three very prominent schools. So that we will discuss. And then we will discuss the concept of bondage and liberation. How we get into samsara and we get, liberated or freed from samsara. So it's not that complicated, don't worry. It appears to be complicated. But we will discuss this in one book, this in one book, and this in one book. And these are simple concepts. 1 and 2. So that is that mind mapping. Very quick introduction. Jaina. If you are not trained in art or iconography, and if you are, not yourself a Jaina person, then if you visit a Jaina place or a monument, you may confuse it with Buddhism. So this is a Jaina figure, but looks like Buddha, no? Yeah. If suppose I don't say this is a Jaina figure, you will feel like a Buddha. Interestingly, Buddhism vanished from India, mainland India. It survived only in corners. But Jainism has survived. So you have living temples of Jainism. You have living temples in Rajgir. If you go to the Rajgir town, you will find many Jain temples. If you see the ancient Rajgir is surrounded by 5 hills. 5 hills are there, Swarnagiri, Ratnagiri. 4 of them have Jaina monuments. So that shows prominence. And Jainism, Buddhism, they developed in this region. Buddha and Mahavir, they both were contemporaries. Their philosophies are very similar. Even their philosophies are so, they are not same, but similar. That British scholars mistakenly, they said that Buddhism and Jainism are same tradition. There is book or very profound research articles written in 18th century, 17th century by top scholars. They are saying Buddhism, Jainism are same.
So, sir, if you talk about Buddhism, should we specifically talk about Jainism?
Sorry?
If you say Buddhism or Hindu religion, then it's all about Jainism or it's about
No.
Because in Bhutan, when I was young, my grandfather used to say like Hinduism and Buddhism are like sister and brother.
Yes. So is Jainism. So Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, philosophically they are different. Culturally, they are almost same or same. Culturally means the rebirth, karma, all these things are same. Rituals, the festivals, calendar system, they all are same.
He used to say like Hinduism, he had and the
I get,
brother and sister or like a son and moon.
so his question is, when he was child, his father told his father never mentioned Jainism as a separate thing. He said Buddhism and Hinduism. What happens if you read sources, which were written by mostly Muslim people? Then, for example, when there is a book which talks about the attack on this Nalanda, you know what the book says? It says it's a Hindu madrasa. For if you are from outside, as I said, if you are not yourself, you are not Jaina or you are not trained in Jaina philosophy. For you, it will look like Buddhism. You can't differentiate unless. So what I mean that is not mentioned differently, because Jainism, Buddhism, in India, the rule book, the constitution, the law. For Islam, it's a separate law. Those who follow, those who are Muslims. For Christianity, is it? But for Hindu, Jain, Buddhist, and Sikh, the same law is Sikh. Although they are different religion-wise, they are different. But the law is same because their culture is same. They believe in same sort of culture. Philosophically, they are not same. Remember, philosophically they are quite different. We will discuss that. How Jainism is different. One typical example is Buddhism does not believe in soul. Ananta. Jainism, soul is most important. Most important. Their entire philosophy is based on the theory of soul. We will discuss. So, Jainism is a living tradition. You have many temples across India in different parts. If you want, you can visit the Rajgir town. There is a Nolaka temple. If you want to visit some, these hills, you will find many Jaina temples on the hills. On this Vyavahagiri, the hills which you see, there is a, if you track, you should explore little if you are willing to. There is a ruins of a Jaina monastery. When I visited, I felt it's a Buddhist, but when I saw the iconography, it was very clear. It's a very ancient Jaina monastery. And those who if you go and unless you are told before, you will feel like this is a Buddhist monastery, ruins of a Buddhist monastery, because there are Jaina figures. There is also Maniyar Mutt, very in Rajgir town, very famous pilgrimage place. That is also Jaina monument. People earlier thought that it's a Buddhist monument, but it's a Jaina, very clear Jaina monument. So you have these living temples, very similar to, these all are living temples of Jaina. And in Jainism, like Buddhism, Hindu deities are also accepted. It's not exclusive. So Hindu deities are, in fact, those who, in India there was a movement for Ram Temple, a very popular Hindu god. And the most, the lawyers and the people who fought for it were Jaina people. There is another battle for, Kashi. And the chief lawyer, they were, the person who has fought for last 30, 40 years, is a Jaina person. So what the idea is, when invasion started happening from external, so Buddhist, Jaina, Hindu, they all got united, because culturally they were same. Buddhism, of course, later on vanished, Jainism survived. So Hindu gods, deities are very much Jaina, unless, you read or you get to know about somebody's, real family. For example, our Chancellor, Arvind Pangadia, is a Jaina person. I did not, nobody knows him. You just check with your, other professor. I read his father's biography. Then only I got to know. Otherwise, you can't distinguish. You are Jaina. But you can't distinguish a Jaina from a Hindu. Maybe that is how Buddhism also existed in ancient India.
And what is the thin line between Hinduism and Jainism?
Philosophy. Worldview means what is the thin line? What finally exists? If you ask this question, what ultimately exists? What is ultimate reality? They will tell you. What is the final? So for For Jaina, the Tirthankaras are the final, you know, that's the final state. So all the gods, for example, Krishna, by the way, one of the all other Hindu deities, they are not excluded, but they become lesser than Tirthankaras. So that's the idea. Lord Krishna's cousin brother is one of the, you know, I think Tirthankara. Not Tirthankara, but just one lesser than. He is also mentioned. Like his 23rd Tirthankara is Parshvanath. His Parshvanath is something relation. There is a relation with the Krishna, like Hindu. So they lived in the same vicinity in Jaina and Hindus. So that way, these are some photographs, contemporary photographs. This is one of the symbols which talks about the, you know, Buddha also does like that. So this is you have two major, you know, the way in Buddhism there is a Sravakyana and Mahayana. Two major branches are there. Similarly, in Jainism there are two major branches. One is called Digambara. So dig means sky, or dig means the, you know, the sky we feel. Dig, and Ambara means the truth. So sky truth. That means there are Jaina saints, those who renounce everything, utter renunciation. This is in a way extreme of renunciation. So they renounce everything, they renounce clothes. So nothing, they won't possess anything. So they are called Digambara. So you will find generally in the streets because of the norms, but you can see sometimes, you know, Digambara monks also, you can see them. And for example, this is the Digambara, it's a all naked Jain, same.
Which means during that time only this gentleman was
in Jain, especially in Digambara. So as I said, there are two, the way Mahayana and Sravakyana is there. So Mahayana opens the door for female Buddha. In Mahayana, you can have a female, you know, being can Tara is a female Buddha, for example. But in Sravakyana, only man can become. Female cannot become. In Jainism, Digambara, this tradition is like that. It says a female cannot become a female, cannot get finally. Finally, the person has to be born as a man. But Shvetambara, in their list of 24 names are same. But there is a Mallina, one of the Tirthankaras, I don't know whether you know about it, but there is a Tirthankara. Your Shvetambara is Digambara. Shvetambara. In Shvetambara tradition, there is a provision that even female can become a Tirthankara or high state can be. So there is a difference. Anyway, so this is a totally naked saint, but he is addressing the assembly of Haryana. Like, you know. So it's well accepted now. Even people walk without clothes, and he walked in the, you know, the assembly of the state, and he is addressing all the top politicians of that state. And he is totally naked, not a single thing on his body. So this is not something seen as obscene or vulgar. It's not like that. It's well accepted in. And then you have Shvetambara. So these are white. Shvet means so white. Shvet. So Ambara, and this is Dig. Ambara means close. Shvet means white. And Dig means sky. Sky card. So sky close. Sky close means, you know, nothing is there. No close. And Digambara. So in Rajgir also there, if you see, there are two types of these temples. And if you read, you can read that which is very Digambara, which is, for example, Veerayatan. Have you been to Veerayatan, or there is a beautiful dolls museum, and temple is there. the town, you should visit. That belongs to Shvetambara tradition. And if you go to another town, there is a Naulakha temple, a very big temple in the town. That's the Digambara temple. So these are teachings, so some main teachings of Jainism, like renunciation. So without renouncing the word, you can't achieve liberation. That's one of the key points, key teachings of Buddhism. Jainism. Karma, they go to extreme of the karma theory. Like Buddhism, Hinduism also accepts karma, Buddhism also accepts karma. Karma has become very, very important for Jaina tradition. We'll discuss in detail and why. Dualism, it believes in, this is their metaphysics, that like there is a jiva, a soul, and there is ajiva matter. We will discuss this also in detail. 5 precepts of Jainism, Buddhism, and Hindu yoga tradition, they are same. So, ahimsa, non-violence, satya, speak the truth, austere, don't steal, brahmacharya, celibacy, and aparigraha, renounce attachment. So these are same. If you know Buddhist philosophy, 5 precepts, they are same. Panch Mahavrata. So they call it Panch Mahavrata. I will share that technical document in the document. So 5 vows, they are same. In the yoga also they are called yama. 5 in we will discuss. I think Dr. Mukherjee will teach you the yoga philosophy. So there when he will be discussing yam and yam. So yam 5 are this exactly the same. Jain cosmology. So because of their belief in karma, strong theory, so for them they differentiate, unlike sentient beings, they also divide the things into sentient things. Sentient things means in Jainism, plants since ancient time, not when Jagdish Chandra Bose discovered that plants are like, much before that, thousands years back, they have the tradition that plants have life. So, in their idea of non-violence, there are certain fruits which are prohibited. For example, guava. Guava. You understand what is guava? Guava. Guava has small many seeds. So the more seeds you are killing, the more violence you are doing. You are getting this? So those types of foods are also prohibited. They go to that that extent. And extreme of abstaining from the worldly attachment. For example, their renunciation is unlike Buddhist monks or nuns. Their renunciation is utter renunciation. They don't depend upon anybody for anything in that sense. If traditionally, if Jaina Mahavir in his life story, there are stories that they live utter on the their karma and the cosmic existence. For example, if they don't get food, they will just okay. Another example, like in Jaina monks also, they don't have hair or beard, but in order to get 7-headed, they don't go to barber. There is a ceremony and they will pluck their hair. They will pluck their hair. This is absolutism. This is like not depending upon just they will pluck their hair. With ashes, they take. There is a ceremony in a month they do, and they put some ashes so that if you pluck, your hand will slip. So they use some ash and they pluck their hair. So the Jaina monk, for example, whose photograph you saw, so he has plucked all his hairs, whatever hairs. No, you should not laugh. This is their idea, their practice, their tradition, and they are right in their own because that's how their salvation, the idea of renunciation becomes. So it's the food, or that is why they most extreme non-violent culture in the world, in any time it has existed, it existed with Jainism. Non-violence is that is one of the reasons why Jainism could not spread outside of India. Jainism cannot go to Himalayan regions because in Himalayan region, the for example Spiti or Ladakh, just imagine 500 years back or even 100 years back. Or even now, I went to Spiti where Buddhism, I was doing some research. Spiti gets disconnected in present day I am talking about. For 9 months it is disconnected from the rest of the world because there is heavy snowfall. So you can't go, there is no airport. Now the people living there, they have to live on animals because there you can't grow food. Only one crop grows there for 2 months. The rest is extreme cold. So they live on barley. And how much barley you can, feed for? So they have to live on livestock. That is the animals. They have to kill animals, eat the meat. So monks also they eat meat. In this question was asked to Dalai Lama when he came to Delhi University, one of very smart professor. He knew that Tibetan monks they eat meat. So he asked, what is Tibetan Buddhist concepts of non-violence? But Buddhists also believe in non-violence. So Dalai Lama gave a very smart answer. He said, we are monks. Whatever comes in our begging bowl, we have to accept it. So monks also, because they are monks, they have to go to, they have to live on. But what will happen is if a Jainism goes to Spiti Valley or a Jaina monk goes to, Jainism can't sustain there. No, in Jainism, forget about killing, even farming is prohibited. You won't find a Jaina person who is farmer. Farming is prohibited because in farming, when you plow the fields, you will kill the insects. They don't eat in night, even the Svetambar or Digambar. Svetambar, if you visit, you will see sometimes on face mask, they put a mask. They feel that through when you inhale some microbes, like small, they are going in your stomach and they will be killed due to your body's temperature. So they put a mask. They don't eat in night. I'm not talking about, renunciates, even the householders. If they are strict Jaina, they won't eat in the night. Because in night, when you cook food, you may kill insects. I'm talking about ancient India when these systems were not there. So no non-violent culture existed on the earth is Jainism. But their saints are called Arihant. Hant means killer. Hant means, and Ari means enemy. What is the spelling of enemy? Enemy. My spelling, right front of spelling. Arihant. Ari means enemy. Those who kill the enemy. So for them, these enemies are not some external enemies. They kill all their afflictions, and that's their high state. When you kill all your enemies, you are enlightened. And enemy is not external enemy. All anger, hatred, jealousy, attachment, whatever negative, destructive emotions we have, negative emotions we have. You have to most of their ideas are coming from the karmic matter. So there is a soul because of the karma, afflictions of the karma. So soul is inherently pure. with you, there is a covering of the karma, and because of which we are in bondage. So inherent property or intrinsic property of the soul is enlightened knowledge, enlightened virtue, pure bliss. And just as the darkest and densest cloud cannot completely hide the sunlight, this is again I am quoting a Jaina text. So also the karma cannot completely cover the qualities of the soul. Even small parts of knowledge, vision, energy, this always remain uncontaminated even in the nigodas. Nigodas is microbes. Even though you see the bacteria, they also have that. In Jaina philosophy, even those bacteria also, they have this knowledge, this uncontaminated. So even the microbes, they also have these types of quality. So the bodies are in this manner. The soul is at the core. Then there is a subtle body, which is the karmic body. Then there is a like subtler, which is the tejas body, and then we have this physical body. We will discuss all this in more details. So, physical body, this is linked with the karmic matter through the tejas body. So that's and upon fruition, the karmic matter produces subtle, most primal psychokarmic expression, which is adhyavasaya. It's a technical term where we are discussing that Jaina karma theory. We will discuss that. So one of the chief, I was reading this Sarvadarshan Sangrah, and it starts with the book I showed you earlier. It starts with when it is discussing Jaina philosophy. So it starts with an attack on Buddhist philosophy. So it starts with a dialogue, a sharp dialogue between Buddhist philosophers and Jaina philosophers. So the theory of karma. Buddhism don't believe in the soul, but they believe in the karma. So they are saying that this soul is not there inherently. And Buddhists also they believe in momentary. Yes. Everything is momentary. That's impermanence. So Jainas are asking, so Buddhist philosophers, that if things are momentary, if there is no intrinsic soul, how can you believe in karma? Because if soul is also changing impermanent, soul is also impermanent. So the person who did something wrong, say bad karma, did some bad karma, the person has changed next moment. So somebody else did the bad karma and somebody else is getting the fruits of that karma. Are you getting it? In their theory, karma theory cannot be established if you reject a permanent soul. Are you getting this? You have soul is not there, so things are changing every moment. You have changed. So 5 years back, so how your karma, and according to karma theory, there is a sanchit karma, there is a reservoir. Whatever you did, you have to get fruit of that. You did something bad in your past life or in this life, you get the fruit of that, right? You don't get instantly the results. So if there is no permanent soul or permanent self, somebody else did the karma and somebody else is getting its fruits. Are you getting this? Logically, this is problematic because there is no soul. How can now you have changed? So 5 years back you did something bad. Now soul is changing every moment, so you have changed now. But now, so this is not a justice. This is not a somebody else did the thing and somebody else is getting punishment for it. If soul is there, then karma theory. So they are attacking on this basis. that soul has to exist if you have to accept karma.
But in Buddhism,
We'll discuss that.
there is no soul.
There is no soul.
The concept of impermanence doesn't apply on the law of karma, which is law of karma is like the universal law.
Buddhism. Ultimately, if you ask a Buddhist in Buddhism, karma exists ultimately.
Yeah.
But what the answer is? No. First you answer if you are a Buddhist, I'm asking. Does karma exist ultimately? What is your answer? Yes or no?
Till the person
No,
gets
just
karma.
wait. I'm asking. Does karma exist ultimately? Finally, it exists or not? Yes or no?
After enlightenment, like after nibbana, I don't know, but till then karma exists.
Yeah. So after, ultimately means after death, it does not. The answer is no. Karma does not exist ultimately. Ultimately, karma does not exist.
We don't know after nibbana. Buddha didn't talk about that.
No, but what Buddha, when we go to what Buddha taught, he taught many different contradictory philosophies. Remember, that is why we have multiple schools of Buddhism, philosophical schools, and they don't agree with each other. Buddha's intention was not to establish a philosophical school. His intention was to help people. So he taught many things. Did I said this? Buddha, somebody approached in the morning, Buddha said, person has soul exists. So Buddha taught like that. There are many contradictions. For a Vatsiputrika, there is a philosophical school. It believes in a soul, conventional soul. And they also put a Buddha Sutra itself. The career and a load. The soul is the career and the karma is your load. So there is a bhar and bharvaha. There is a whole sutra, bhar bharvaha sutra. That means the career of the load and the load. So karma is the load and the so Buddha is talking their independent soul. Anyway, so what was your question?
That this argument, when we see from this perspective, when they are questioning the Buddhists, so it doesn't last because ultimately impermanence doesn't apply on the law of karma.
No, it applies to karma. Otherwise, how karma won't disappear? If karma is there, then nirvana is not possible. So, if law of impermanence applies on karma as well. Karma is also impermanent. Just update your knowledge about Buddhist philosophy. That applies on
Not on the relative level, but then once you receive that.
whatever. Even here, when you receive nirvana, the karma has to go. So there is no, if there is no permanent soul, or even forget about karma, how liberation would be possible if there is no soul? No soul which gets liberated. No? Anyway, so
I think Buddhism, when you talk about impermanence and the changing nature of things, it doesn't mean that it registers nothingness.
no, wait, when I am teaching a one philosophical school and when you are studying one philosophical school, try to become that, try to go with that philosophical school. You know, when I was teaching Charvaka, you have to become Charvaka, you have to think, otherwise you won't go into the depth of, if you still retain yourself. So these are very serious questions and not yet, of course Buddhists have their answer. When this comes, these questions have been asked, they have answered it in a very profound manner. But right now we are studying Jnana, so take it seriousness. The way Buddhists, they accept that yes, karma is also impermanent and soul does not exist, then how the karmic fruition happens. So different schools, they develop different theory. For Abhidharma, there is a text, Abhidharma. So there it talks about, they develop a concept which says that there is an inherent, although soul or self does not exist, but there is a continuum. Later on in Chitta Mata, the mind only school, they develop a mental continuum, Santan, Chitta Santan, or mental continuum. That exists. Even rebirth cannot be established if you reject karma. Soul. So all these questions Buddhists have their answer, but right now take these questions, from this Jaina perspective. When they are posed, when we will discuss Buddhist philosophy, we'll discuss all those answer in depth. Maybe in the next semester, because this semester I am not teaching you Buddhist philosophy. So, yes, Buddhists, they have their very profound answer. But right now, take Amida. So, what I will do, I have already created, a document related to Jaina philosophy. And this I will share. Till now I have not discussed that document. Next, so this Jaina philosophy, key element. Some ideas, whatever I have discussed today in the PowerPoint, those are discussed, but you read on their own. So that when I am discussing these philosophy, these things in the next class, it's easier for you to understand because these are deeper concepts. Today I just gave introduction, very, very gross introduction. Now, next class we will enter deeper into it. So go through it. Okay?